today I'm just going to be doing a random video. It's just pretty much going to be a rant. So if you don't like those that much, then you should probably exit out now. And it's just going to be me talking about families and just how my life has been the past couple weeks. But yeah, it started off, my family, it started off as my mom, my dad, my brother, and I, we're all family, happy. Then eventually, after a while, my mom and my dad grew apart, and they got divorced, like many couples do nowadays. And so, after they got divorced, I was sad, but then, as I grew older, I got used to it. It was a different schedule. I'd see my mom on the weekdays, and then my dad on the weekends. And so, I got used to it after a while, good routine and stuff. And then after that, I realized, eventually my mom started dating again. And, that's okay, whatever. I got used to it already. It's okay, my mom's getting someone new, whatever. And so, she had, all these different guys. But, eventually they came to this one guy, and I'm just going to say a different name. His name is Bob. And so this man started dating my mom, and we liked him. He also had a son, another name change, Stanley. Okay, and so Bob was, he started off as a family, we liked him, and then he brought his son Stanley in, which was okay, great. And then after that, everybody was happy and stuff like that. And then suddenly, his son, Stanley, and my brother didn't get along as much. And because of that, they left or whatever. And then so we're okay, broken up, whatever. It's shed some tears. But then after that, we wait a while, and then he comes back again. And this time he's just oh, well, I think we could try it again. So we do it again, and then later, a couple months, maybe more. And then after that, it's broken up again. And so we do this routine for a couple times. Those were the 2 times, and then after that, there was, I think, 2 more. And after that, then, things started to become more solid. And, then we met their family, the grandma, the grandpa, the aunt, the uncle, the cousins. And after that, we're happy, we meet everybody, we're getting used to everybody. And then it's 4 years passed by with all of this all started. And, they get married, my mom and Bob. And, we're starting a family, everything like that. There's still a couple bumps on the road. But then, it's suddenly after we moved into this new house that we finally got into, because we used to live in a smaller house, a townhome, and then now we moved into this bigger one. And so after we moved in, things were different. They were happy at first, and after school started, it got worse. I think it was more worse. And so after all of this happening and all of this new house, new school, new everything, things started to go wrong again. People, my brother and my stepbrother, stopped getting along and whatever. And then later, these few bumps, there was a bigger bump. And then there's another bigger bump and another bigger bump. And after that, I don't know what happened to Bob, my stepdad, but he got a little AKA nuts. Because, he, I don't really know how to say this, but he just turned a lot different than I thought he was, from the beginning, let's just say. They changed a lot. You get to know them more, but it was 4 years with the same person, and you don't really gradually, it's so over time that you don't really notice until suddenly, whoa, this person's different. And then after that, I realized, I didn't really want to be a part of this anymore. I didn't want to be a part of this family anymore because I'm tired of getting my heart broken. I'm tired of feeling that, we ended up 4 years in a family together. You know everybody, the whole family, and you get really close. And then suddenly when, something goes wrong. I stopped liking my stepdad, Bob. And, I don't think I'll ever feel the same way I did after that one humongous bump on the road where everything got crazy and he got a little nuts and everything. And I don't think I'll ever like him the same way I did before, because he changed. He changed rapidly. And it's just the way that he acts, I don't think a stepdad would act. After all of this is happening, right? And I don't feel the same. I start thinking, and I feel so guilty and so sad. It's hard to even say it. It's like saying goodbye to your brother, pretty much. I get this new stepbrother, and then I have these new cousins, and then I have this new aunt, and this whole other family that I really, really care about. They haven't done anything to me that I would, totally they just teach me what I'm supposed to be learning, and I love them for it, no matter what. And once I fell out of love with my stepdad, I don't care about him anymore. I don't. It's not really the same feeling that you have. It's if we ever, if my mom and Bob, my stepdad, if they ever get broken up, then it's just so much work. You learn all these people, you get all used to them, and then you leave them again. And now, since I have no feeling for Bob, if he leaves, it's I don't feel that much anymore for him because of what he's done over time. But then I also have to remember that I'll never see my stepbrother again. I'll never see my cousins again. I'll never see my aunts again. I'll never see my grandparents. For all the things that they did for me, I miss them the most. 100% of the most. And it's so hard for me. I can't even tell you how hard it is to just say this out loud. It's still going on. I'm still having these moments where, I see the big picture now. I see why I'm really upset all the time. I see why I really have this weird hole in my heart. It's because once I know, because of all the previous breakups before, I know that one day my stepdad will leave. And this is what he caused for himself. I know he's going to do it because, that's just who he is. And even if he doesn't, I will never feel the same way I have for him. Ever. And so I feel as if he leaves, then my whole other side of his part of his family is gonna leave me too. So I'm just gonna say goodbye to all of them, and I don't want to say goodbye to them. That's the thing that hurts the most. Is that I don't want to say goodbye to them. It doesn't matter if he leaves because that's his problem. But I don't want to leave them. It's they were added onto a line of me. It doesn't have to be bloodline, it's you don't create a friendship through having the same genes, You get that friendship through time, and you get that feeling of family through time. I'm gonna say, oh, well, my aunt, blah, blah, is my aunt because I've known her for this many times. She's done this many things for me. She cares about me, and I care about her, and the thing that sucks is that with all of this, I can't even tell you how many times I've cried over this. I can't even tell you how many times I felt like I just want to jump into a garbage can and become a hobo and just get away from all of this. Because you know what? It's so hard to say goodbye to someone that you care about. It's so hard when you feel like you are pushing yourself away from someone else because and it's just I want to feel that if he leaves we'll still see them, but I have this very sadness and this bad idea or something that once he leaves they're never going to want to see us again too. And so now it's really hard. Let's just say it's so difficult. It's a really hard situation, and if I could have advice for any other mom out there, I'm a 14-year-old girl. I'm grown up, I still have those times where I just feel like I want to cry. And of course, teenage years, you might think the hormones are crazing around, but it's not. It's me. And my brother, he doesn't think much about it because he's younger, so he doesn't think about all these stuff. And I constantly think about it. And so, my advice to women out there is pretty much, like, all mothers. If you have a son, a daughter, and or whatever, 2 daughters, 2 sons, and you're gonna tell them you're going in a relationship, you get used to them. But once that man leaves you 3 times and then you still want to get back to them, I do not recommend it at all. I do not recommend it at all. Because, 2 times is, let alone a lot. 2 times going back and forth. 3 times is like the limit, like that. And then after 3 times of breaking up and going off and on, it's time to end the relationship. Because you don't want to put your children through something that could potentially hurt them. And you don't know what you're really hurting them with, until you realize what you've done. You see it and you're like, oh my God, I was so deep in love with this person and I didn't realize how toxic this relationship was to my children. So whatever relationship you're going through, I do recommend, if you have children, to just realize our feelings in it too. Because it's not just, I'm not saying you guys are only thinking about it, but sometimes people don't see, because some children like to keep it inside. Like me, I keep it inside most of the time. And it's hard to say it out loud. It's hard to say, it's I don't feel good about this. And, that's what I have. I think that this is my advice for you. And you can either take it or leave it. It's your choice, of course. But I'm just leaving it out there because of what I have experienced over time, over these 4 years. The one thing I have experienced is that, I did feel a love for Bob and Stanley and my stepdad and my stepbrother and the rest of my family. But once that love started fading away because of the actions that Bob did, my stepfather, he could get taken out of the picture, but that once he's taken out of the picture, then all the other things that you love of the other part of the family will be taken away too. And that's what I recommend. If you want, a family and let's say you really are in love with this person, I can't really say this as much, but how hard it could be for you. But, what I've experienced is something that I wish I never had. I wish I never met everybody. I wish I never had gone through this relationship. Even with all the ups, there's just too many downs. Way many downs. There's all these times where I could landscape it and see all the happy times in my life, which I could just say whoa, that was great. And of course it could have been worse. But to go through all of that and to still be able to be upset about losing the family that I do love, it's just so heartbreaking that I don't even think it's worth doing all of this relationship in the beginning. I wish it just never happened. And it's in my perspective, it might have been somewhat beneficial in my life, helped me, but then there's way more things that make it worse. There's too many cons than pros, is what I'm trying to say. So I guess this is pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. And if you have any similar situations and you want to comment it down below, hit me with, yeah. So thanks for listening, guys, and bye.